Welcome back! Now that we have all our materials ready, it's time to get started with the first step, casting on. This is where we create the foundation for our arm knitting project. Don't worry if it feels a bit tricky at first. I'll guide you through each step. First, find the end of your yarn and measure out a tail that's about 3 times the width of the blanket you want to make. In this workshop, we'll be making a blanket that's approximately 1 metre wide, so we will need 3 metres of yarn to cast on with. This extra length will be used for casting on the stitches. I will be referring to this 3 metre length as the tail. The yarn connected to the ball is called your working yarn. Now, we're going to make a slip knot at that 3 metre mark. To do this, make a triangle shape with your yarn and grab each side. Now flip it to make a loop with your yarn and pay attention to whichever strand of yarn has ended up on top of your loop. Reach your hand through the loop you've created and from behind, pull the top strand through. Tighten the knot, but make sure you have a loop big enough to fit around your wrist. Place this loop on your right arm. I like to measure the size of my stitches by taking the slip knot up to the chunkiest part of my lower arm, just below the elbow. We won't go any higher than this. Once you're happy with the size, you can move it back down to your wrist. Great! We've got our slip knot in place and you've completed your first stitch. Now we'll cast on the rest of our stitches. This part can be tricky. Take your time with this step and don't hesitate to pause the video and rewind if you need to see the steps again. Place your tail on the surface in front of you in a straight line. Now bring the working yarn parallel above it. Use your left hand to make a loop with the tail. Reach through that loop with your right hand. Grab the working yarn and pull it back through. Put this on your wrist next to your first stitch and pull each strand one at a time, nice and gently, until it is the same size as the other stitch. Now let's do that again. Use your left hand to make a loop with the tail. Reach through that loop with your right hand, grab the working yarn and pull it back through. Put this on your wrist next to your other stitches and pull each strand one at a time, nice and gently, until it is the same size as the other stitches. We are going to cast on 14 stitches in total. Keep going until you've got 14 loops on your right arm. Don't forget to take your time with this. It can be tricky the first few times you give it a go. So please feel free to pause and rewind as much as you need to. And there you have it. We've successfully cast on our stitches. Next, we'll move on to the actual knitting part where the fun really begins. Shake out those arms and when you're ready, we'll meet back here to start knitting our first row.